Okay, this one here, I have muffin on top and barrel on bottom. And the first thing I'm going to look for is how to make my scallop. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take these two edges and match them up with these two edges to make a scallop on the bottom. So I adjust that, bring those together. And then I'm going to pair this scallop back up with this line, which is going to be a setup for a kite scallop. I'm going to move this so when I slice it makes a kite on top. I have scallop on bottom, and then just solve kite scallop. And then since I have green on top, I'm going to keep these over here, and I'm just going to slice here so I end up with one on bottom, one on top. And then I always put the wrong one on top here and the wrong one on bottom here. Just go up, -3, slice. And I have single edge swap. So I put the one edge here, put the other edge back there, and I do the single swap alg. Then looking real quick, I have in perm on top. Well, one thing I noticed is that it's an adjusted in perm, where like the I guess you would call it the divide here. It doesn't match up with here. So what you can do is go over one like this, and then perform it like you usually would. And what that does is that solves the entire top layer instead of giving us an H perm. And I see I have a U perm on bottom, and I solve U perms using adjacent only. And what I do is I set it up so the one that has the opposite color is in the back. So I'll swap it with these two. I'll swap these two and these two up here. And what that does is it gives me an adjacent. And I just solve that adjacent. And you're done. Okay, for this shape, we have square on top and shield on bottom. And I recognize this one as one of the 3 twist shapes that you're supposed to learn. And I want it to be set up so it's fist, and so I want to separate these two edge groups, but I also don't want to end up matching them up with this, and so I'll just do a -2, which will set that up so it'll go in the fist when I do the twist. And then with fist, I see that this is already perpendicular to the slice, this edge group, and so I want to find the line on the bottom, and I want to set that up so that when I slice it forms kite, and then I just turn it square, and then put the 2 blues on the left, or on the right, sorry, and then the 2 greens on the right, slice. And then now I have adjacent on top and opposite on bottom, which is a case that I don't know. And what I do is I just line up whatever's opposite with the slice, and I do M2, which will give me a single swap. And so I set up for the single swap and do the alg for that. And then I see I have these, which I put in the back, and this, so it's double J perm. And then I see I have a U perm on top and a Z perm on bottom. So instead of like solving the Z perm and then solving the U perm, I solve them both at the same time using adjacent. And these two are already set up for me to be swapped in the back. And with U perms, I take the opposite one and swap it, and so I'll put that in the back also and do adjacent. Then I set these two up to the back, set these two up to the back, and solve it. For this shape, we have fist on top and scallop on bottom. And since the scallop is already made, we just need to look at how we're going to turn it into scallop kite. And what we do in this case is bring this V down to match up with the scallop, so it gives us this shape. Then we turn it so the line of edges is along the slice and the pair is perpendicular. Make a kite on top, and then we still have the scallop on the bottom. Line them up in front, solve kite scallop. And then we have two along here, two on the bottom. Just swap those out. And have opposite. So you line those up along the middle and do M2. Then see there's a bar there and a bar there, so you put both of them back and do double J. And then I see I have H perm on top and an O perm on bottom, and since on one layer there's a case that's legal on 3x3 and on one layer there's a case that's illegal on 3x3, you know that you have parity. And so as soon as I recognize that, I do the parity alg. Which will give me O perm on top and O perm on bottom. And then I'm going to do an opposite, which will turn them both into Z's. So now I have Z perm on top and Z perm on bottom. And then I'll solve both of these with adjacent. This is already set up in the back, so I'm going to set up these two to the back and do adjacent. And then set up those two to the back, these two to the back, and do adjacent.